As the people in our lives shift into various seasons, we are usually their support system. So whether it's your child who is now starting a new school year or a new school entirely, and you're helping them navigate that change, or your friend who has become a new mom and you're helping her out, you're helping her figure things out and being her support and being her guide through that. Whether it's changes on your job and you're the go-to person for a certain thing, so you're helping the team navigate that shift. Your husband or your boyfriend or your friend, for that matter, has gotten a promotion, and you're cheering them on and you're giving them advice and you're giving them encouragement to keep them motivated, to keep accelerating and keep moving higher. We as women are the support system for so many people on so many levels. You can have aging parents who are now having health issues or just going through life in a different way because their priorities have shifted. And they may now be looking to you for support and guidance because you're now an adult and you might be able to help them in areas where they may not be well versed. Your team at work is looking to you for support. Your church group is looking for you to show up in a new way because the direction of the ministry has changed, right? Your friend group has shifted because your friends are now in a different place than they used to be, and they're looking to you for support. If any of these scenarios applies to you as a woman, you understand what it is to want to be there to support others. But this is what I want to talk about. When you have to help someone navigate change, how do you know that you are supporting them in a way that serves them? Because the biggest mistake that we make as women, as we are supporting our loved ones and people at work, people in the community, people in ministry, our children, whoever it is, the number one mistake that we make as women when we are supporting other people is not fully understanding what they need to navigate that change. The mistake that we often make is giving them what they want and not what they need. And that takes a level of discernment that you can only have if you have taken the time to evaluate and navigate your own wants and your own needs as you have shifted into different seasons. Now, if you as a woman are watching every other person in your life move from one season to another, move from one level to another, and you are not doing the same thing, then something is wrong. And that doesn't mean that you need to change careers the way they did. That doesn't mean that you need to change relationships or come out of a relationship the way they did. That doesn't mean that you're doing the same thing that they're doing. But understand that if you truly want to show up well in the lives of those you love and the lives of those you serve, it requires a different version of you, because their new season requires a different version of them, whether they see it or not, whether they like it or not. And in order for you to support them in this new season, you need to level up too. So this September, that's exactly what I'm doing in my own life. That's my focus right now, is leveling up my mindset, leveling up in my faith, leveling up in my nutrition, leveling up in how I invest in myself. I have a daughter who just started college. There is a different version of me that she needs now than she needed when she started a new level in her elementary education or her high school education, right? She's about to be, she's embarking on adulthood. So the mom that she needed when she was 10 is not the mom that she needs now. I have to treat her differently. I have to see her differently, right? I always say practice on yourself, because what we do is we want to show up well in other people's lives. We want to be what they need. The truth is, we want to be what they want, so they'll love us, so they'll like us. That's the truth. If we're really honest, right? I want to give them what they want from me, so they will like me. When your view of yourself is off, you show up the way other people want you to show up, not the way they need you to show up. But when your view of yourself is on point and you understand who you are, you understand what your strengths are, you understand where you need help and where you need to grow and where you need to develop, what now happens is that you are in an empowered state to show up how people need you to show up. Because one of the things that I talk about with vision is insight, right? One of the I's in vision actually stands for insight. And this is something that we need to learn. It is not something that everyone has innately. There are some people who are very insightful and they're able to draw out the truth in a situation and draw out solutions. And you might say, well, I could never do that. I could never figure out what to do. I could never figure out like what's really happening here. And you just stay in this state of confusion. So you don't know what to do with that child who's now gone off to college. You don't know how to relate to them. You don't know how to deal with this man who's going through something and you want to be there for him, but you can't quite pinpoint what's going on. Right? You want to be there to support your team at work, but everything is all over the place and you can't really figure out why things are falling apart, why the systems that you've set in place that have been working for the last 5-10 years don't work anymore, because the season has shifted. And if you don't have insight to see that the season has shifted, you stay stuck in an old system that is never going to work again. And you're frustrated. You're mad at your coworkers, you're mad at your children, you're mad at your boss, you're mad at your husband, you're mad at your boyfriend, you're mad at your friends, you're mad at your parents, you're mad at everybody else. But the truth is, it's a system that needs to change, right? Wisdom and insight tell you what needs to change and when and how. It tells you how to shift, and it also gives you the confidence to flow with it. I remember I was driving upstate recently and I could see that some of the trees had already started to change their leaves, but most of the trees hadn't. And in my mind, I'm like, wow, the seasons are already shifting. It's going into fall. It's not summer anymore. How do you look walking around in, let's say, November, early November, with your shorts on and a crop top and some sandals, right? But that's what we do in life. We stay stuck in a season and we dress our minds for that season. And when we're walking through that season, we're uncomfortable and nothing is working because you're not dressed for that season. Dress your mind for the season you are going into, because we in life is going to move forward whether you like it or not, especially if you have children. They're going to grow up whether you want them to or not. And if you're not working on you and being the woman that you need to be for you first, and for some people that is so uncomfortable and it seems so selfish. But let me tell you something. When the people in your life require you to show up in a big way, you better show up full. Because if you don't, you realize, oh, I could do this running on empty. So you start to not prepare yourself. You start to not build yourself up because you realize I could be half full and still do it. And we are praised for doing that. Oh, my mom, she sacrificed so much. And I know sometimes she was tired and she did this and she would. And we I don't know. It's like we float on that praise. And there is a nobility and a beauty in being able to function. It is supernatural when you are able to function cognitively, physically, dealing with a newborn who wakes up every hour and a half, every 2 hours, and you can still do the things that you need to do. I testify. Right, especially with my last child, the older two girls that live with us, they were in school and I had to take them to school when my son was a baby. During the newborn stage, we had a driver. Thank God we had help, and thank God I said yes, because some of you will not say yes to the help that you need. Some of you will not say yes to the help that you need to help you get through this season into the next. And that's the reason why you can't see the next season, because in this season, if you don't accept the help, when next season comes, and it's coming, you're not going to feel like you can face it. This might seem like I'm all over the place, but I'm just flowing. I'm literally verbalizing what I would normally journal. Right? So just stick with me. This September, as I am doing it for myself, I am inviting other women to join me and leveling up into this next season. Because every season of life, every shift that you make, whether intentionally or unintentionally, every shift that you make, hopefully, prayerfully, should be an upward shift. Because you can make a downward shift. You can make a lateral shift. And this is what a lot of us do. We make the lateral shift, so we change jobs, we change relationships, we change routines, we change our clothes, we change our hair, we change so many things, but not our mindset. And the Bible talks about not being conformed to the world, but being transformed by the renewing of your mind. The next season of your life, regardless of what that season is, whether it's a job, whether it's a relationship, whether it's a health issue, that next season of your life requires a different version of you. And I'm not talking about how you show up, and I'm not talking about what people see. Right now, I'm sitting in my room and I am alone. This version of me, the version of me who wakes up before everybody else to pray, to journal, to sort through her own thoughts and her own feelings and her own emotions. The next season of me, the next minute, the next hour, this day that I'm walking into, when I walk out of my room and I walk out of that door, requires a different version of me to the person I was yesterday. And I can have all the plans in the world, but I don't know what I'm going to face when I walk through that door. And I'm not saying that it's disaster. It might not be disaster. It might be something amazing. But think about this. Imagine having to say no to something wonderful because you don't feel prepared and you don't feel worthy. Work on you. Work on how you show up. Work on how you think about yourself, how you feel about yourself, what your intentions are toward yourself. And those women, you're meeting a new man and you want to know what his intentions are for you, right? What are your intentions for you? And do his intentions meet your intentions? Because if you don't know what you want, as wonderful as he may be, you might actually be settling for less than God's best for you just because it looks good. And I'm not saying you have to require every person you meet to be perfect and every job to be perfect and every situation to be perfect. But girl, set your standard. Set your own standard. Live up to your own standard. Keep your word to yourself. When you keep your word to yourself, a simple thing like saying, I'm going to get up and I'm going to journal. And I'm going to journal about this specific thing. And if you need help with that, I got you. Right? I need help with this specific thing. And I need to sort out this specific issue in my life because it's nagging me. And I'm going to get to the bottom of this. And I had a situation in my life very recently where I put my internal foot down and I said, I am not walking into 2024 doing the same thing. I don't come on here talking to you because I'm perfect and I have it all figured out. I have my own stuff that I'm going through, and that's why I can talk to you about these things. Oh, I'm getting aggressive. I'm feeling this. I am so feeling this. Right? Whether you're in the Caribbean, you're walking from dry season into rainy season, right? Or you're in a different kind of climate, you're walking from summer into fall, whatever it is, seasons are changing. Pay attention. Pay attention. There is a version of you that is required for the next season. And if you don't show up and do the work that it requires to be her, when challenges present themselves and when opportunities present themselves, you will be ill-equipped and you will feel discouraged. You will feel disappointed about not doing the things that you were supposed to do. You will project on other people and say that it's their fault that you're not prepared for this season, when in fact, it is nobody's responsibility to prepare you for the shifting seasons of life but yours. Your parents did what they could with what they have and what they understood and the mindset that they had. Your friends support you with what they have and what they can and with the mindset that they can. It is your responsibility to prepare yourself for your next season. It is your responsibility to set your own standards. It is your responsibility to show up and do the work that it takes for you to reach your next level internally and externally. And there's a reason why I said that, because before you can level up externally and maintain that level, because let's talk about that. It's one thing to achieve something, and it's another thing to maintain what you have achieved. How many people do you know have reached a certain status, and when they reach that status, all hell breaks loose in their lives, and they are so confused. They don't know which way is left, which way is right, up, down. They maintain a facade, and it looks cute on the outside, but internally, in their minds, in their hearts, spiritually even, everything is all over the place because they have not prepared. And I'm going to quote the Bible again. It talks about the steps of a righteous man being ordered. God is not the author of confusion. And I cannot speak about seasons and leveling up and changes in life without speaking about God, because one thing, I'm a Christian, and that is not something that I'm going to hide. right? I'm not pushing my Christianity down your throat, but this is what I believe and this is how I live my life. And I can't communicate what I want to show you and what I want to teach you without talking about God. That's a standard that I've set for myself. When you are walking into a new season spiritually, your capacity spiritually needs to expand. Because what we do is when we look at our seasons of growth and our seasons of change, and I'm going to stop in a minute because I've been talking for like 20 minutes. When we look at our seasons of growth and our seasons of change, we look at it like it's steps. It's actually not. It's circles. And if you look at my logo for the vision sequence, it's circles. And there's a reason for that. It's not because it's cute. This is your mindset at a certain level. When you shift seasons and that new level of you is required, your mindset has to expand, right? So it's not so much about leveling up, it's about leveling out. It's about filling up. So when you show up as a bigger and better version of yourself. I was going to say more, but I feel led to stop here. And everything that I said to you from the heart. I'm saying it as your visionary coach, but I'm saying it from my heart. Some of these things I am facing in my own life right now. And trust me, I feel the shift. But this shift that I'm welcoming, it's not causing me to back down. It's not causing me to hide. It's causing me to show up privately